the storage, the collaborative workflow, the color, the finish, and the output. And the first process starts with ingest. And Eric here at Bayshore, I've worked with on many projects before, and Key Code has worked with, and thank God he saved our lives. We've done reality television, we've done feature, we've done broadcast television. Let's start with the ingest. You saw us outside with the cameras, you saw us with all the iPhones. He just got it. He's going to give you the workflow. He's going to get it on the sand. Eric, take it away. Let's start the workflow. Jump in that mic.
All right, thanks, Tony. Test. There we go. We're live now. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Good? So, who chose grilled cheese over Korean tacos? I don't know. I've had both, so. But thanks for all coming. So we're here representing Telestream, and our enterprise class solution is called Vantage Transcode. So Vantage is our enterprise class transcoding solution that will make your reality television shoots much, much easier, especially with camera ingest. As you know, like what Tony mentioned, you're dealing with GoPro, iPhones, red footage, C300, C500, 5D. Stuff's all over the place. People are shooting in different frame rates, different aspect ratios. So instead of you having, and I'm sure you've done it quite a bit, having to manually sort through all of that footage, we have a solution for you. It's called our camera ingest solution. So basically, as an example, I have some Sony FS7 footage here on a camera card, and I got my trusty iPhone. Now, for time's sake, I've already loaded some of this stuff onto my SAN here. The Telestream application, we work well with many types of storage solutions, Facilis, ISIS, network shares, Isilon, all that kind of stuff. And the most common type is these cards are loaded up, we don't know what's on them, and Vantage can basically what we call, it's smart transcoding. So we're not just having a file come in and come out. So what you're looking at up here on the screen is a workflow we built specifically here for Food Wars using our camera ingest function. Now, what is camera ingest? Basically, it allows you to, let me go to the right slide here, do individual shot modes. So if you have a camera card with individual files, you can transcode individual files. You can do a stitching mode, which will transcode all the files together back to back. Or if you're, for example, if you're doing like a 3-camera shoot, you can do a time alignment mode, and it'll basically align all that footage up for you, basically group them for you before you even get them to the editor. Now, Vantage is also a smart transcoder as well. It has analytical capabilities. So in this workflow, we have an analyze action here. This analyze action is actually going in and interrogating that media. What I mean by interrogating, it's creating what's called a variable that will be passed downstream. It's saying, what's the video width? What's the height? What's the frame rate? How many audio channels does it have? Does it even have audio? Sometimes people shoot stuff, there's not even any audio on it. So, like I said, stuff's all over the place. So Vantage's ability to basically do a media triage and sort through that footage, we can decide if it's 2997 or if it's 23976, and then route to the appropriate transcoder on the way out. Now, this particular workflow in what we call Workflow Designer, we're making for the Avid format a DNX 220 for high res and also a low res proxy for editorial. So what we do, we have our camera footage here, and I'll go into my staging folder. So I have some FS7 footage, and I got some footage shot on an iPhone here. Now let's go in and I'll just go ahead and get my FS7 footage. Now, most times when I've dealt with a lot of reality television folks and a lot of shoots, and they'll have like a master root folder with like basically like a barcode. If anybody's familiar with Avid, that becomes the tape name. So Vantage is basically extracting that and creating a tape name. So when you do your match backs from your low res to your high res, everything matches up. So it's easy to consolidate and do your editorial on your low res and then match back to your high res for your final output. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to activate my workflow, and now we're actively monitoring a folder to drop files into. And let's go ahead and drop that in there. now we're in a monitor status view. Basically, this is showing us that the Vantage Transcode server is actually actively monitoring that watch folder and waiting for that camera footage to be dropped in. Now you see, this is called the Job Status tab. You'll see a lot of these in process and waiting. This is basically your job status view of where the process is, of where the files are being transcoded. Currently, we're transcoding directly to the Facilis array. And in a shared storage environment, the editors will be able to see that shared storage, and immediately, instead of having to AMA, instead of having to transcode before you get into editorial, we're making it to that native editorial output. Whether it's Premiere, Final Cut, Avid, doesn't make any difference. We're agnostic to editorial platforms, and it saves a lot of time. Vantage does all the heavy lifting, does all the transcoding, and basically prepares everything for that editorial platform to edit. Now, I wanted to mention one more thing as well. We do offer an appliance called a Lightspeed server, and you'll hear a jet engine start to spin up over there with the fans going. That's our GPU accelerated appliance, and that does transcodes much, much faster than real time. So if you have a tight timeline, which a lot of reality television shoots do, it gets things in much, much quicker. And you can also run Vantage in what's called an array configuration if you have hundreds or thousands of hours of footage. Like Tony mentioned, 700 to 1, 1,000 to 1. That's a lot of footage to have to edit, have to transcode. If we can do all the heavy lifting on the input and on the output side.
Yeah, that means you can buy more and more from me.
Exactly.
You can just stack them up.
Again, once these are done, they're complete, and then you're ready for editorial.
Right on. So we're on the sand now, right?
Correct.
So this is the exciting world of transcoding. Pretty crazy, huh? Woo! Give us here for Eric. One file format to the next. My favorite part is to look at that screen and just watch those little lines do this.